And my name's Richard. This is the meetup for the dating meetups and for the nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group. We're going to be talking about ladies' game. And what I'm going to do is we're doing a book study of Rollo Tomassi's book, The Rational Male. And then so I'm going to read this section on ladies' game. And then we're going to open it up for discussion. And I want to invite everybody to join in the discussion because we'd like to have some comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the put up the screen, and then I'm going to go ahead and you can read it with me. All right. So plate theory 5, ladies game, female plate theory. For as often as I've mentioned women being natural born plate theorists, I don't often go into detail about it. I think it's pretty well established that I completely disagree with the idea that women only want to fuck or have sex with or want to fuck one guy at a time. I could outline several women I know from experience in this, but really observing behavior will bear this out fairly predictably for most men. I will, however, agree that women are predisposed to and are socially encouraged to seek monogamy, once convenient, of course. But as in all things female, the talk rarely matches the behavior. Sexuality is women's first best agency, and even the homeliest of women know this. Even when they're just complaining about other women using it. The principle is that a woman's first priority is to seek out security, and even when confronted with the duplicity of women's pluralistic sexual strategy, would be wise to bear in mind when evaluating motives for behavior, their methodology is what's in question here. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying there, but I think what he's trying to say is that it's actual women's practice that is in question here, not their actual, although their priority is supposed to be security, we have to look at their actual behavior. There is an understandable confusion for guys in this respect. On one hand, women present a constant facade that the fear of being perceived as a slut, i.e., concurrently fucking more than one guy at a time, concurrently having sex with more than one guy at a time, is primary to their self-respect and respectability. However, this has to be tempered with the desire, both biological and psychological, to experience a variety of men in order to ensure the security provisioning from the best among them. So in order to facilitate this, women must practice a kind of calculated hypocrisy that is socially reinforced by the gender as a whole, as well as some men, usually those optionless as to excuse the behavior in order to get her sexually, or guys so conditioned that they overlook it as normal. It is socially acceptable for a woman to blatantly spin plates, which basically means that it's socially acceptable for women to date more than one guy at a time. Men will get criticized for that. But for women, there's no question that they can go out to dinner with one guy one night and with another guy the next night. Nobody asks them any questions, unless perhaps you're accusing them of having sex with them, and so they have to protect themselves from that perception. So this is the nature of the hypocrisy. So, does this sound outrageous? While a woman who makes her sexual practices a bit too overt runs the risk of being perceived as a slut, which is dubious in this age as it is, most relatively attractive women covertly have a constant bullpen of starters ready to go to bat at any time. These are also known as orbiters. So regardless of what they say, they've got attractive women have a whole group of guys who are ready to go anytime she wants. Orbiters are the intention providers, the maybe guys. It makes little difference in terms of available options, which she chooses at any given time. The very fact that she has 5 or 6 of them pursuing her is enough to boost her sense of self-worth, her social status within her same gender peers, and give her the confidence to drop any one of her plates at a moment's notice for any reason, knowing that 2 or 3 more guys or 20 more on Facebook stand ready to take his place. No questions asked and prepared rationalizations at the ready. Furthermore, this practice is socially reinforced by women doing the same thing, and the social conventions constructed to excuse the behavior. So these social conventions are what women use to manipulate us. There are ideas that they're trying to stick in our heads that they've reinforced. And so the idea that I only do one man at a time and you should only do one woman at a time. Are you a one woman man? That's a social convention. Furthermore, it is the unspoken rule of a woman's prerogative. A woman can always change her mind. Men, however, are supposed to stay tried and true. This is a powerful tool for women. In any situation, if a woman doesn't choose to be sexual, it is necessarily forced or obligated, even when it's after the fact. Either the jerk forced her physically or emotionally, or she had thought she wanted to but later reconsidered. It makes little difference. In all social situations, the default is to side with the feminine, the weaker sex, women, from sympathy or empathy, and men from a desire to eventually become intimate with them. I don't think he's a very good writer, but so I don't really know what he's trying to say here. In either instance, the feminine prerogative is socially reinforced. And that I know for a fact, that men will be questioned and pressured to do what a woman wants them to do, even if it's sexual, being auctioned off on a male auction block, even stripping and taking off their clothes. Women think that men should do these things, and if they're not, they're gay. So that's important to understand, because even by my focusing on it here as a male, my motives for doing so become suspect. So anything we do is possibly trying to get to sex. That's how embedded this dynamic is. To question it risks ostracization. However, I also understand that for a greater part of women, this plate spinning dynamic isn't a conscious effort on their part. So none of this is really conscious. It's not necessarily thought out. It's just what they do. In fact, I suggest that it is so thoroughly recognized that women default to it autonomously, which means they just do it that way. Also, this is a good example of the first principle of power. When you have power, always feign powerlessness. So in other words, women have a lot more power, but they like to pretend that they don't. Free reign. So with a firm understanding that their behaviors will, for the most part, be excused, and this is a huge problem with women getting away and thinking they can do anything, especially when in regards to sex with men and men's sexual behavior and how men should be used. They are free to practice the feminine form of plate theory unhindered by social reprisal. The feminine plate spinning involves much more than sex, though. Remember, attention is the coin of the realm in female society. The capacity to command attention determines self-esteem, peer status, sexual selectivity, and a host of other factors in a woman's life. So spinning plates become more than just a which guy am I going to get tonight prospect. The dynamic and these factors are what makes women natural plate spinners. Even when a woman has no intention of ever becoming sexual with a maybe guy, his intention still has some value to her. It appeals to the long-term perspective for security that a continuous subroutine running in her hindbrain. So in other words, she's just doing this automatically. This is the rudimentary psychology behind hypergamy. So these things, I guess he's saying, are running through women's hindbrain. It's not conscious, not consciously aware, but all these processes are being run by their instinct or their psychology, their evolved psychology. Now combine all of this with women's native language, covert communication. And it's natural for a man to assume that a woman will only ever become sexual with one guy at a time. This serves the latent purpose of keeping them in a kind of stasis. If he assumes women will only be sexual under the precondition of comfort and commitment, she is free to spin plates, essentially weighing options as she pleases, and sample at will what she sees as in her hypergamic best interest at the time. So if men live with this delusion that women present to them and act as if we're true, and if they actually believe it, that allows her to be free to pursue other plates. That's why committing to a woman is so dysfunctional, because it just frees her up to look elsewhere. It just relieves her anxiety so she can look for another better, bigger, badder guy and keep you just in case she can't find anybody better. If the carrot looks good enough, the guy will patiently pull the cart until such time as another better carrot comes along. Either way, he's in that stasis. If a guy were to see her social and psychological machinations for what they are, he would never pull the cart. So it serves women's best that men think commitment should always be required for intimacy, even in the face of her behavior directly contradicting this. And so many times we're being told by women over and over. I had a woman just tell me recently, tried to convince me to so in other words, I'm supposed to be exclusive with her to show her that I'm capable of being a one-woman man while she doesn't have to. I'm supposed to qualify myself to her that way. And that's what she's trying to convince me of. Plate wars. Lastly, this social dynamic serves as a very effective weapon for women against each other. Competition anxiety between women is something men can exploit for their own plate spinning. But the reason it is useful is because women so readily use it against each other. For a woman to say another woman is a slut translates into an overt betrayal of this unspoken social contrivance. Essentially, she's saying the rules are that women require commitment for sex, but here's one who will never be worthy of any guy's commitment because she won't play by the rules you suckers think she will. And women, they're very good at pointing that out in other women. Oh, that woman's just trying to get it. That woman, oh, if that woman's just trying, they're very good at pointing it out in other women. She is tacitly disqualified for a man's commitment and is, at least in the accusing woman's mind, a reduced threat to his feminine competition. She becomes exposed in the same game they're all playing, and in being so, loses attention and therefore status and personal esteem. So They're hypocrites, and they'll rat on one another in this competition for the highest quality men. It seems petty to guys, but it's really warfare, intragender warfare. Think of how many times an exceptionally attractive woman that is completely anonymous to a group of women you happen to be with will berate her based on appearance alone. That's how women will berate the woman just based on her appearance. She must be a tramp if she's dressed like that. These are the same women who will berate a man for basing his estimation of a woman on her outer appearance. This is manifested feminine competition anxiety. Ask a woman to name the most attractive female actress they can think of. Odds are it would be a woman who, as a guy you'd never think of, who presents the least threat of this anxiety. Gentlemen, as I'm fond of saying, women will have sex. He uses a different word. They may not have sex with you. They may not have sex with me, but they will have sex with someone. The girl who bangs the hot guy at the foam party in Cancun on spring break within 5 minutes of meeting him is the same girl who wants you to believe that they'll only fuck one guy at a time and then only after commitment. All women are sexual. You just need to be the right guy at the right time for the job. All right. So I hope that didn't offend anybody.
Absolutely not. I think we can get a round of applause for that one.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you. So if anyone wants to comment on this or has a question, hello, everybody. Glad to see everybody. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. And any women have any comments? I'm sure it might be shocking to some of us, but this is what I've found too. But they always complain, so it's not really clear to me all of this, but yeah, there's a double standard out there for men. Somebody was just telling me, I was just listening to another influencer, men when we get charged with a crime, we get a harsher sentence than women do. I mean, black men get harsher sentences than white men, but men get harsher sentences than women for the same crime. And this Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow case where she killed her children, he got the death penalty. She's the orchestrator of it. She's the one who did it, who planned it all and made it all happen. It was her children that they killed, and yet she gets life in prison. He gets the death penalty. This is the type of stuff that we men are
crazy, all just because they got tits,
Yeah, it's kind of like that, John. Yeah. And it's sort of like social constructs that they've put on us. Women can do anything when it comes to sex. Man, he's going to jail. He has to register as a sex offender. His wife's going to know about it. So, and that's the situation we're in. So how do we deal with this situation? Is one thing is don't commit right away. Be very careful. Give it a year or two before you commit to a woman, because they're gonna start asking you to commit right away. I have it all the time. No sex without commitment. Who the heck? Isn't this 2024? It's not the 1800s anymore. It's not even 1950s anymore. The women want 1950s relationships with 2024 equality. So we're being screwed, in my opinion. All right. Any comments? Anybody want to add anything here? Yeah, Clint, that would be great. Oh, you're muted, Clint. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I came in late. I had technical trouble. But
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Is there a way to see the part of the page that I missed before, I came in about 10 after. I don't know if there's any way is there the
Yeah.
book or any way to catch up on that? I don't want to waste other people's time, but
Yeah, well, a lot of ways.
okay.
One is the show's going to come out. I'm going to record it, but that's going to take a number of weeks. But you
Oh,
can
okay.
find the Rollo Tomassi. They have actually PDFs of his book available online. So I'm using a PDF that's available free online. So
Oh,
you
okay.
can find that. It's section 5 of the plate theory chapter.
Section 5 plate theory.
It's
Okay.
called Ladies Game. There's no doubt about it. They're telling us when you go on a date, immediately you are locked into that game. They're going to try to convince you that they're pure, they're innocent, they only want one guy at a time. They want to seek commitment. If you're going to just want to hook up, and they get an attitude. Boy, the attitude that some of these women have and come to.
Sometimes you just got to show them their place,
Well, yeah, John, can you elaborate on that? Give us some idea. If you want to turn
Yeah,
your, go ahead.
sometimes just like the other day I met this girl at the club, and she was trying to dance with all these other guys, and I'm like, no, I'm here for you.
Mhm.
And they're like dancing with all these other guys, and I couldn't do it. I got so frustrated. I went on to the next woman.
Yeah. Well, you were did you take her there on a date or you just met her there?
Oh, I just met her there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's and you just can't expect them to just suddenly hook up with you, when you go out there on that dance floor. And the fact of the matter is, from what we've been studying, you should be the one going out and hopefully what you're doing is you're presenting yourself in a way that women are attracted to you. So rather than just focusing on one woman and going for one woman, you're trying to pre-qualify yourself. You're trying to show that other women are attracted to you. That's the best way. If you can show somehow non-verbally that other women are interested in you, whether it's by them looking at you, smiling, flirting with you, or anything, that woman will have more interest in you. But if you go chase that one woman and say, "Oh, I'm here for you. You've got to stop dancing with the other guys," and stuff like that, it's not. She's going to just go dance with the other guys. She's got to come to you. She's got to be the one who sees you as high value, and then she will come to you. And the one way to do that is to show that you're pre-selected, that other women are interested in you. So you should be going around showing her that other women are interested than you, and ignore her behaviors. But keep it in mind that that's how she is, because if you're going to be committed to her, um, we need to you
Well,
need to
of
be
course,
aware of
because
that.
it's a woman after all.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's see what we got. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what you meant by that, John. Um, are we siding with the male abuser? Did you have anything to mean by that, John, when you said that?
Oh no, I typed that into the wrong chat. Sorry.
Okay, okay. Why do people put up with this crap? That's a good point. You have it. I think that the blue pill is powerful. And I swear it's so hard. You have to be ready for it. You have to be a point in your life where you're ready for it, because it's so ingrained in us, the teachings. We are responsible to sort of, we're the ones who are sexually promiscuous. It's men. Men just want sex. The whole narrative is out there, and anti-male. I was so disturbed when I was watching an influencer who was showing me on MSNBC a panel, and it was 4 women, 5 women talking about the problems with dating. I'm thinking, at first I think, where's the man on that panel? And then the second thing was they said, all these women are finding that these men don't share their values. I'm thinking, what values? What do you mean we don't share your values? You know, what values do you have besides trying to get the most money you can and the hottest guy you can? It's not a
He's giving all
value.
these women a place to speak, no?
Well, I want the women to speak up too here, and there, you know, and I don't think it's a matter of nobody's attacking, but what we want to do is just make sure that we have a discussion where we understand what we're talking about and can learn something and get something from the discussion. And that's the most important thing.